There comes a time when your body stops tolerating anything false. Sleep is no longer restful, food is not satisfying, and your energy becomes so sensitive that even familiar places seem strange. It's not burnout, it is not a disease, and it is not just a passing phase. It is something deeper. You're not just waking up, you are completing the process. You are entering your final awakening. This stage is not announced with ecstasy or euphoria. It arrives silently, through fatigue, disconnection, and strange changes in your body that seem inexplicable. You feel as if you are shedding your skin, abandoning something that no longer belongs to you. Your thoughts slow down, your vision becomes sharper, the senses are louder than the words. You can no longer tolerate what you once endured. He can no longer fake emotions, and the body becomes the first to show the signs that the soul is detaching itself from the illusion. The final awakening is not about learning something new. It's about ceasing to be everything you never were. And as this happens, your body begins to change in undeniable and sacred ways. If you've been wondering why everything on your system looks weird lately, maybe that's why. These are the last signs that the final awakening has already begun. There's a kind of stillness that doesn't come from exhaustion, but from completion. Suddenly, your body no longer desires stimuli. You stop chasing productivity, avoid conversations that drain your energy. Even music or background noises seem too much. And you begin to choose stillness, not as escape, but because your soul asks for nothingness. This is not laziness, it is cellular transformation. When you enter the final awakening, the body knows that the next version of itself cannot be forced. It needs to arrive in its own time, in silence, without external demands. Therefore, your body slows down. Their movements become intentional, the desire to prove something disappears, and the constant urge to do turns into a deep call to simply be. You can notice this even when you eat. Chews more slowly, stays seated longer, takes frequent breaks. Or during the day, you feel waves of stillness arise, not from fatigue, but from deep listening. It is your body aligning to a quieter frequency, which only comes when the soul is almost fully embodied. Stillness is not a pause. It is a sign that you are leaving behind the human rhythm and beginning to perceive something eternal. You return to a place you loved, your old room, a favorite coffee shop, the family home. But now it seems wrong. Not dangerous, just energetically strange. Your body contracts. Breathing becomes short. You sit down, and instead of comfort, he feels a disconnection. As if the walls were still there, but you were no longer part of that environment. This is not nostalgia or bad mood. It is frequency shift. On final awakening, your body begins to vibrate at a level that no longer matches the old energetic vessels. And even if your mind still feels connection to these places, your body can't lie. He perceives the disharmony instantly. You may feel tension in your shoulders, a heaviness in your chest, or the need to leave without knowing why. It's not drama, it's recalibration. Familiar spaces that once housed your identity now seem too small for your spirit because you don't have to shrink to fit into them again. You must move forward into new physical and energetic territories. Discomfort is not a rejection of the past. It is confirmation that his presence no longer fits into the old mold. You're in a normal conversation, and suddenly the heat rises up your chest. Your face gets hot, or your arms get cold even in a hot environment. These are not symptoms of anxiety or illness. These are cycles of energetic return, one of the clearest signs that your body is responding to your spiritual authority. During the final awakening, your body becomes more electrically charged. Speaking your truth, processing deep emotions, or even keeping quiet can trigger intense energy movements. This energy creates temperature changes. It builds up in the nervous system and releases in hot flashes, chills, or both. This often happens in vulnerable conversations, in silent meditations, or in moments of total presence. The waves don't last long, but when they do come, they are intense and leave the feeling that something has passed you by. And it has. These temperature changes are not flaws. They are activations. These are signs that your body is being used as a vehicle for spiritual expression. And the more honest and open you are, the more the heat will flow and the static will dissolve. One of the most confusing signs of the final awakening is how the appetite changes. You're not fasting on purpose. He is not dieting, but the food starts to seem unnecessary. Some days you forget to eat. Others, they want something rich and strong, but without standard, without guilt, without routine. Just a feeling that the body chooses what it needs at each moment and ignores the rest. It is not a restriction, it's intuitive surrender. You stop using food to fill voids. Stop looking for sugar as a stimulus. Stop clinging to meal times, and finally trusting the body, it begins to hear exactly what it asks for and when it asks. You may feel like eating fruits and raw foods for days, then need warm stews and consistent meals. You can go weeks without eating breakfast and suddenly wake up hungry at 6 in the morning. You don't need to explain. You just feel it. And more importantly, the emotional relationship with food begins to fade because your body no longer sees food as consolation. He sees it as fuel for a mission that every day becomes clearer. This sign can be the most confusing because it's not how you imagined the cure would be. You did the job. He finally told his truth. He broke a karmic bond. He forgave someone he thought he could never forgive. He broke a cycle that defined his life for years. And now, instead of feeling lightness and triumph, he feels empty. Not sad, not broken, just hollow, as if something inside had been turned off. As if walking with a space in the chest where there was something before. Many believe that emotional closure brings euphoria or immediate peace. But in the final awakening, the closure is different. He doesn't arrive with celebration. He leaves with silence. The body, after carrying hurt, guilt, resentment, or old patterns for so long, doesn't know how to exist without them. And when that energy is finally released, the body doesn't scream. He stops, pause, breathe, but he also feels disoriented by the new emptiness. You may feel it after a long overdue conversation, after leaving someone who seemed to be your home, or even after an inner realization that destroys an old illusion. The moment itself is powerful, but it is what happens after that shows your reality. You stay emotionally quiet. Appetite disappears. You don't seek distractions and find yourself staring at walls, not out of boredom, but because your system is rebooting. This emptiness is not failure, it's integration. It's the pause between who you've been and who you're becoming. Your body is adjusting to the absence of a weight that you carried for so long that you had already forgotten what it was like to live without it. Don't try to fill the space quickly. Don't rush to give it meaning. Let the emptiness echo, because what will come next is not a return to the old. It is the arrival of something totally new, and your body already knows that you're ready for it. You walk into a crowded store, and suddenly your legs weaken. He participates in a conversation, and his voice tightens. He visits a place from the past, and his stomach contracts. These reactions are not random. They are energetic shutdowns and become more intense as you enter the final awakening. Your body begins to reject frequencies that are no longer for you, and it shows it through temporary disconnections, a foot that falls asleep, a dry throat, a sudden pain in the back. These are not health problems, they are energetic rejections. Your body no longer wants to tolerate what drains it, therefore he stops pretending. Collect your energy, limits the flow, it gives signs. This space is not aligned. You must not remain here. This happens especially when reviewing people or places connected to the old self. Maybe it doesn't look bad, maybe just weird. Discomfort is the body's way of warning that its mission is no longer there. Don't force yourself to stay. Respect the intelligence of your physical field, because the more you honor where your body contracts, the faster it will find the spaces where it expands. You open your eyes in the morning, but instead of feeling rest, you seem to have come back from a long trip. The limbs are heavy, the chest full. There are no dreams to remember, no images to connect, but there is a strange emotional weight, as if the body has gone through something and the mind has not been invited to remember. This is not insomnia, it's not bad sleep hygiene, nor is it about dreaming in the conventional sense. During the final awakening, your energy field begins to participate in deep nightly integrations, and your body becomes the vehicle of this work. They are not symbolic dreams or unconscious processes. These are real energetic tasks, ancestral healings, dissolving karmic threads, transmuting collective energies, or releasing soul contracts. You may not be aware of these operations, but your body is the one that performs the work. Therefore, he wakes up with the feeling of having already lived a whole day before the sun even rises. The shoulders are sore, the spine rigid. You feel emotions that do not belong to your current reality. On some mornings, sadness. In others, a strange serenity. And he doesn't know how to explain. He just feels like he's been somewhere. And this is not just a metaphor. People chosen in final awakening often report waking up at specific times, such as 2:11 or 44 a.m., hours linked to soul shifts or timeline mergers. You may start to need longer periods of rest, or realize that even after 8 hours of sleep, you still need silence in the morning. This is the body demanding space for integration. I do not rest from the physical world, but recovery from a spiritual work. If you wake up more tired than when you went to sleep, don't try to fix it. Sit with that. Ground yourself, because these are not ordinary dreams. They are messages, and even if your mind still can't decipher them, your body has already understood. There is a moment that happens silently, without warning. You're doing something ordinary, washing the dishes, looking out the window, tying your shoes, and suddenly you feel down. A strange and silent end. Something inside you exhales. It doesn't look dramatic. It doesn't sound inspiring. It just seems to be finished. And you can't name exactly what you've finished. It is not linked to a breakup, a job, or a specific event. It is deeper. It's the kind of end that sounds like the closing of a chapter of the soul, a vibration that he can no longer carry. You sit quietly and realize, I'm not that person anymore. This is one of the clearest and most sacred signs of the final awakening, because it does not come from effort or strength. It comes from an energetic conclusion. You've lived the lesson. He repeated the karmic cycle enough times, and now your system doesn't need another round. He just lets go. You start to notice this end in the smallest things, in the way he no longer feels like explaining himself, in the way she becomes invisible in roles she used to play, in the way certain dreams fade away, not with sadness, but with silent acceptance. You don't even suffer. He only knows that it is over, and your body knows it too. You may feel like organizing everything. She cleans drawers, donates clothes, changes the furniture in her room, not because of fashion or productivity, but because your body instinctively makes room for what's coming. You release without rituals, release without words. And while your mind still craves clarity or direction, your soul already knows. This end is not loss. It is an invitation to start again from the truth. You don't have to explain it to anyone. Just trust that what has ended has ended. You're not going crazy. It's not broken. It is not lost. It is concluding its final awakening. And your body is the one that's trying to show that. He is releasing tensions that he has held for decades. You are rejecting old cycles before your mind even understands it. You are longing for silence, simplicity, and alignment. It's preparing you, not for performance, but for presence. And as your cells let go of who you thought you had to be, something true begins to emerge. Not a higher self, not a fanciful version, but your original self, the one who remembers why he came here in the first place. So if these signs resonate with you, if your body has been acting in strange, silent, sacred ways, know that you are not at the beginning of the journey. It is at the end of a cycle. And what comes next is incorporation. No more searches, no more escapes. Only truth lived through your skin, your voice, your breath. And if you need a space to process all of this, you're here. If you felt seen in this video, even if only a little, this channel was made for you. Because here we don't just explain awakening, we speak the language that your body already knows. So if you're walking through this final chapter, don't walk alone. Subscribe and keep remembering who you really are.